welcome to another episode of Beyond the Black Rims. I'm Mars Girl.
I'm Josh Knight the First.
And this is Season 5, Episode 16.
Or Episode 110 if you're counting.
How's everybody doing this evening? Hope things are well. Hope we're coming to you loud and clear, and I'm sure you'll tell us if we're not. But as always, thank you very much to our Patreon contributors over at patreon.com/MarsGirl who make this and many other of my shows happen every single week. Thank you very much. Without you guys, we just couldn't keep doing this. So,
Absolutely.
So, thank you. Well, I'm just going to kind of jump to what's been going on.
Yeah, there's a couple of things going on this week. We got to see that Zelda performance on Colbert.
That's true. And I think Stephen Colbert has been a fantastic host of The Late Show thus far.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for those of us in the nerd identity, I suppose.
Well, yeah, because he's been an unabashed nerd for the run of even the Colbert Report. You know, his absolute love of Lord of the Rings seeps in. He just had, that same night, Elijah Wood on, trying to do his best not to talk about Lord of the Rings.
Not to talk about Lord of the Rings,
since he's pretty much not... It's not his forum to do that. I mean, it is, but at the same time, he has to hold back a little bit.
Very true.
But at the same time, we knew going in, he would be the guy to represent nerds. And going into that, he's the first guy to have a concert like that on his show. I mean, yeah, we're all not going to really want to talk about Letterman and that horrible Hatsune Miku fiasco.
I mean, I liked that performance, but
I like the performance, but the way he handled it was
you can tell the way he handled it was awful. The audience wasn't all that excited because it was an older host, it's an older audience, and they're just like, what is this weird crap, you know? But no, that Zelda symphony is fantastic. I saw that same symphony live a year or two back when they came into San Antonio, so if you ever get to see Symphony of the Goddesses perform the Zelda orchestration anywhere in your nearby vicinity, I would actually dare say it's a better performance than the Final Fantasy concerts.
Than Distant Worlds and things like that.
Yeah, Distant Worlds and all of those similarly Square Enix licensed concerts. I think they typically get better performers, and what they're showing on screen at the same time so much better fits what's happening on stage with what they're performing. I did think
it was a nice touch, if you noticed, if you were watching the performance. It's online now, if I'm not mistaken. If you look up at the nice kind of cathedral setting, it's a projection that he normally has every night on his show, but during the performance, it was different Zelda characters up on the top, and that was awesome.
It was so good.
It was a nice little extra touch to it. I know a lot of people are asking, no, I'm not really see-through today. See, I turned off the ghost icon this week, so I'm not going to be a ghost this week.
No, truth be told, I played with, like, the lighting settings and stuff.
Yeah, but if I hit this, and then I hit it again,
you almost ruined everything around us. I almost ruined
everything. Well, see, that's the problem with being a ghost. Yes.
No, if you were a ghost, you wouldn't ruin anything around us.
Well, no, if I was a ghost, I could ruin everything, but you wouldn't see it. Well, you wouldn't see me, but you'd see stuff get ruined.
Maybe.
Yeah, sort of. Maybe.
Maybe it would work.
Ghost is doing alright. I'll say that much. We saw episode 2 this week. And we saw the arrival of the iguana ghost striker that
Again, it still doesn't make sense why it's there.
I mean, I get it.
Still don't
it's become a thing
I don't get it.
To where every year the writer has to figure out why he has to fight some giant CG version of the monster.
Okay, that's fine. So he has a mount, but why is it a chameleon?
An iguana.
Or an iguana. Why is it an iguana?
I still don't have an answer for that.
Okay, thank you. So, is there anything else that we need to talk about before we describe our news stories that we're going to be discussing here a little bit later in the show?
Not exactly, but we have a lot of follow-ups to get to, so we should probably go through to our actual stories.
Then let's go ahead and do that. First of all, we're going to be talking about, in a little bit, Tiger and Bunny. Some of you might know the anime series, quite a good superhero kind of anime series, a good twist on how superheroes actually work and function. Supposedly, it's going to have a live action. Is this Hollywood?
Yes, Hollywood live action adaptation.
We can talk about how plausible that's going to be and see what directions they could possibly be taking it in.
Yes, absolutely. Awesome. Our second story of the evening, there was a little bit of a debacle over on Twitter relating to Black Ops official Twitter account. They kind of messed things up a little bit, and people may or may not have thought that there was a terrorist attack happening. Some people kind of took it a little too far. we're going to talk to you guys about that and how that was not a good idea.
Yeah, kind of bad decision making on Activision's part. And then finally, admittedly, it's related to another movie, possibly, but Alita, Battle Angel Alita, as it is, localized in Western countries, somehow has managed to claw its way out of development hell and is actually happening. And so there's more details on who's directing, who's producing.
Yeah, we've been keeping up with this for as long as it's been in development hell, and now this is the first sign of somebody throwing a rope down like, okay, you can come out now. It's cool. We're going to talk about that.
Sounds good.
Yes.
All right, but we do have follow-ups, and you helped me figure out what some of them were about, and I'm excited about some of them.
Yes.
So tell me about some of them, Josh.
Okay, I'll start.
All right, let's go.
With the giant monsters. All right. So we talked to you guys before, of course, about the potential, at the time when we talked about it, the potential updated version, potential. Yeah, potential. Updated version of King Kong versus Godzilla. And now it seems that has, of course, been officially slated for 2020. The way it's going to work out is Kong Skull Island will come out March 10th, 2017. Godzilla 2 will come out on June 8th, 2018, and it's looking like a summer release in 2020 for Godzilla vs. King Kong. So now it's official. This is going to be a shared universe between the two
I think that's good
franchises.
Pacing for each of those movies.
That's not bad. That's not bad. But I did notice a friend of ours kind of brought this up on Twitter, and I really hadn't thought about it either. Of course, these are two big names, kind of household names by this point. Godzilla, King Kong. The wonder now, or the thing that people have been postulating, is that because this is Warner Brothers and Legendary now meshing these two franchises together, is that why Pacific Rim is being put on the back burner?
Yeah, that was a good question that was brought up by another friend of ours. Like, we hadn't even thought about it, and then suddenly, he's
like
probably right.
That makes total sense because
they're both. It's the same studio.
And the thing about it is they're all kind of coming in on that same cash cow giant monster movie franchise, and they want to go with the tried and true method of, well, Godzilla sells, King Kong sells. We're just going to put those together.
Those are big names
robots,
that have been known
we don't
for
need the
decades.
Yeah, we can wait on the robots, which I think is a bad idea.
We
need the robots. We need the Jaegers.
Quite frankly, I wish they would spring for, like, I know that maybe it's stretching the studio thin to try and do two at once, but I think you could probably hire enough people to do two movies at once.
Well, see, here's the way I see it, because Guillermo still very much wants to work on it. Of course, he's been meeting with other people, like we talked about. He met with Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones, saying he wants her in on the next installment when it happens. The best thing we can all do is, of course, Crimson Peak comes out tomorrow. Some people might already be watching it tonight. Go support Crimson Peak. Show Warner Brothers and Legendary, hey, we'll support this guy. We'll definitely support the next giant monster movie he does. Hint, hint.
Yes.
And then hopefully that'll push them in the proper direction, because money talks.
Yes, of course.
All right, moving on to...
What else we got?
We got a lot of Marvel news, so let's go through the Marvel news.
Okay.
Right now, we want to say this on air. There is only rumors right now. We are not saying this is an actual story. There are only the rumors right now that Fox, after the whole debacle of the new Fantastic Four basically bombing, it's only a rumor right now that they're thinking about giving the rights back to Marvel like everybody wants.
I heard that rumor was confirmed false. But
either way, we're saying it's not true. It's either not true or not confirmed.
I'm like so not following what he's saying right now. Like I'm not. You can say that that's like maybe a thing, and I'm totally like that's so not even a thing.
Well, either way, like, it's not true.
Oh,
potential. There's no. It's either potential or false, but it's definitely not true. We're both agreed with that.
I guess.
Close enough?
Okay.
All right, close enough.
Thank you.
Okay, going on to Daredevil. Out of New York Comic Con this past weekend,
I had a Daredevil image from last week. And
it's okay. We don't need the image this week.
All right.
People know what he looks like. Red guy with horns.
Yeah, he doesn't know what he looks like though.
Kind of.
He's blind. He's blind.
You're so messed up. No, yeah, he's blind. But point being, we got a little tiny taste of footage from Season 2, which of course is still filming right now and will debut on Netflix in 2016. Just a few shots of Matt, Foggy, and Karen at a church. Matt's still very torn up about why he feels guilty on his quest. We got a little look at what Elektra looks like, and a brief, very brief glimpse of the Punisher, and what people are saying, that's his line at the end where he's basically saying beg. We assume he's got somebody at gunpoint, but still very much looking forward to Daredevil Season 2. More on that as it develops.
Yeah.
Now, in movie Marvel news, this just broke maybe within the last couple of minutes. For Thor Ragnarok, it's more or less confirmed that Thor will be accompanied by the Hulk in this movie. Because people had been wondering, well, there's not much Hulk in all the other movies. You just got the one solo movie.
That, and then he, like, jumped off into the air and is hovering around in the air.
Yeah, at the end of Age of Ultron. Well, now it turns out apparently he will show up in Thor Ragnarok, so it's, I guess, going to be kind of like a buddy movie for them? Which I think would be awesome.
It could be okay. I don't know. He punched Thor in the face a couple movies back, and I don't know.
They got over it.
I guess.
Well, they were cool at the beginning of Age of Ultron, and they have no reason to be, antagonistic towards each other now.
I guess not.
And there's a small rumor that they might take little tiny plot threads from Planet Hulk, but that's not confirmed either. We just know that there's a high likelihood at this point, until we've got ink on paper, that the Hulk will be in Thor Ragnarok.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to a little bit of Star Wars news, and then we're going to have some more later on. But this pertains to Battlefront. Of course, the beta just finished a day or two ago. Hopefully some of you guys got to play it. I know we did.
I actually enjoyed it. I mean, I do think that some maps were skewed.
That's actually something that's really the point of the follow-up. The developers went ahead and admitted the Hoth multiplayer level was in fact skewed in the Empire's favor. A lot of people were complaining that if you were playing on the Rebellion side, you really couldn't win, because the way the map is set up is that you have to keep the relay links up long enough for the Y-Wing bombers to take out the AT-AT walkers, and then you have to destroy each AT-AT walker and make sure none of them are left before time's up.
Right.
But the thing is, if you're on the Empire, you've got at least 2 AT-ATs, plus the ATSTs, plus your TIE fighters, and there's just so much force on that side that even if it's evenly balanced, there's still a skew in the Empire's favor. And people were complaining, did y'all mean to do that? And they're like, yeah, we kind of meant that. And they're like, we'll fix it. That's not fair.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's something they'll iron out before the actual game launches.
Because we realized that, the Rebels lose on Hoth. According to canon.
Well, according to canon, but this is a game, and this
exactly,
isn't
it's a
actually...
game, and it's not going to affect what happened in the movies, It's not going to change anything.
And admittedly, yes, there, aside from the skewed fight there were a lot of hilarious videos of people during gameplay, such as Luke Skywalker getting stepped on by an AT-AT.
Or doing awesome things like throwing a snowtrooper into a TIE fighter and then they both exploding.
Blow up. That was awesome.
That one was amazing.
And then what was Darth Vader getting dive bombed by an A-Wing?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
The only way to take out Darth Vader, if you ask me.
Yeah, because he takes a lot of punishment.
Yeah.
Alright, that's good for that. Moving on to some DC news. So... this is going to be an interesting thing if they decide to go ahead with it. So, one of the next animated movies that DC is going to be developing is, of course, The Killing Joke, one of the famous Batman storylines from the 80s. Well,
one of my favorites.
Apparently, DC has given the go-ahead to DC Animated that were they desiring to, they could actually make this an R-rated feature.
That blows my mind, because not even a live-action Batman film has hit an R rating.
No, each Batman movie has been PG-13.
Yes.
From the 89 Tim Burton movie on to now.
Yes.
So this
modern-age Batman movies have never seen anything higher than PG-13.
Right, of course. And so this would be a first for DC Animated. This would be a first for Batman, because if you've ever read the comic, there's some messed up stuff the Joker does to the Gordon family. And, there's
a reason why Barbara becomes Oracle. Yeah, and that's covered in The Killing Joke.
And that's not even to speak of the unspeakable things that he does to Jim.
Yeah.
Like, that's very torturous.
Yes.
So, were they to take that route, I think it would be a very interesting story, just so they could get away with the visuals. That's not to say that they would up the language necessarily, but definitely to show some of the more graphic visuals that go along with that story.
Right.
I think that would be necessary because you want to keep true to it, and if you don't think you can do that in the confines of a PG-13 animated feature, then by all means, if they gave you an outlet, take it. That's what I'm saying there.
All right, I would be interested in seeing how that works, but also kind of scared. You know, it's a good kind of scared, I think, but because I would totally be interested in seeing how they execute it.
Oh, absolutely. In other television news, over on the Gotham end of things, back in 92, if I'm not mistaken, in Batman Returns, that of course had the Penguin as one of the main antagonists. The Penguin's father, in a flashback scene at the very beginning of the movie, was played by Paul Rubens, who we all know as Pee Wee Herman.
Yes.
Well, now over on Fox, on Gotham, they've actually reached out to Paul Rubens to reprise that role as the Penguin's father, and he accepted. So now he will be playing that role twice in two different kind of universes.
Now
there.
Paul Rubens is kind of an old man.
He doesn't look that bad.
No, not that bad. I just remember when Conan O'Brien was having his last week on The Tonight Show, and this, of course, mind you, was like 5 years ago at this point, right?
Jesus, that long?
That's hard. Yeah, but he came out on stage as Pee Wee Herman, and you could see his face was super caked up. He looked good. He still looked like Pee Wee Herman, but you could see they needed to cake him so hard because he's getting older.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that's
we won't have to worry
difference.
about him being Pee Wee Herman. He's playing Mr. Cobblepot.
Yeah, I get that, but all the same, like, the age difference seems really different.
Well, I get it. He's younger there. Look at it this way. He's younger there in Batman Returns because Oswald just got born. Here, Oswald's in his mid to late 20s, so he's considerably older.
Okay, then maybe it'll be okay. I don't know.
But we'll see how that works out for Gotham because it needs help. Yes.
God, yes.
And moving on to, since we're in the DC realm, our favorite section. We hate it. You guys love it. Not quite Justice League. All right, let's get to it. So, going back to New York Comic Con this past weekend, there were setups for some of the toys and action figures that are going to be available for the movie Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice when it comes out. And one of the questionable things that we saw in the trailer, they actually had a figure of there at the in the display case, which was, of course, Batman in this kind of a desert camo getup.
There we
yeah,
go.
here you go. I don't know if you can blow that up real quick, but it had a label on there labeling it as Nightmare Batman. Now, Nightmare's spelled with a K, but otherwise that leads me to believe that that's not to be taken with too much sincerity, since it kind of looks like it would be some sort of an outlandish dream sequence to me anyway, so hopefully that won't have too much relevance on the plot. That's just...
There you go.
Yeah, you can see right there it says Nightmare Batman, and that's clearly the Batman who looks like he snapped some guy's neck there during the trailer. So hopefully that's just some sort of a dream sequence and not really going to weigh badly on Batman as a character.
Yes.
We hope. I hope.
I'm getting rid of this now.
Yeah, get rid of it. Okay, so moving back to Star Wars news now. Now, a lot of sites have been reporting this, and we'd be remiss if we didn't have a chance to tell you guys about this. So apparently, during Monday Night Football, this coming Monday, the 19th, there's supposedly the final trailer that J.J. Abrams has been working on. That trailer is going to be released during Monday Night Football.
Possibly, yes.
In addition to that, also a very strong possibility at this point, the pre-order tickets for The Force Awakens will go on sale this Monday, which is our warning to you guys to keep an eye out. By all means, get your money together with friends, because these things are going to sell out. We know this.
Because if I'm to be honest with you, we have already gathered money from lots of our friends in prep. Like, we've kept our ear to the ground on this so hard because we absolutely do not want to miss the very first possible showing here in town, along with all the other fans.
Now, in addition to that, you had an update from AMC Theaters.
Well, kinda, yeah. I don't know if I don't still have it open. However, I can remember it, I hope. There's a community I follow that follows the Star Wars celebrations, and so somebody just took a photo of their computer monitor as they're looking at AMC's websites for ticket sales. Granted, AMC is not yet selling tickets, and it just says not available for purchase yet, blah blah blah. But then they have updated information about we're encouraging costumes, but we don't want anything that's going to harm people or make people feel uncomfortable. So you can bring lightsabers, but leave your Han Solo blasters and your Darth Vader masks at home. So you can't have prop weapons unless they're lightsabers. Only lightsabers, it seems, and you can't wear masks. So, no Stormtroopers, no Darth Vaders, no Boba Fett's.
No Kylo Ren, no Captain Phasma. Yeah, so if you guys really want to cosplay opening night, probably stay away from AMC theaters.
Yeah, go to another theater. Although, if I'm to be honest, I bet a lot of theaters are going to do this. Because this is the age we live in now. I'm sorry for those of you who grew up in an age that, you know, where things were cool and people didn't do crap to ruin it for the rest of the world. Thanks, stupid people, but it's the way it is these days.
Yeah.
I'm a little heartbroken, but it'll still be a fun experience.
But yes, that's our update for you guys on that. Last bit of news, and this is a very interesting thing that just developed over the weekend. So Yoshi Sudarso, who plays Koda, the Blue Ranger over on Power Rangers Dino Charge, visited Japan not too long ago and got to meet with the cast of Shuriken Sentai Ninja. And now he reports, some people were wondering, hey, wouldn't it be cool if he showed up on the show? He's showing up on the show. So in episode 34 of Ninja, he has a brief guest cameo, making him the first member of Power Rangers to show up in Super Sentai in any capacity. And this is historic. Yeah. Because the closest we've come to even a Sentai-ish thing showing up in Power Rangers is when they let a little snippet of footage from Aba Rangers sneak into Dino Thunder.
Yes.
Other than that, there's not actors showing up over here. And
we did this the other way around.
Yeah, this is a Power Rangers actor who got a cameo in the currently airing Super Sentai.
And it's probably because he was already a Sentai fan, and he was probably super otaku excited, and like, hey, let me on. Hey, guys, hey, I really want to be on. Can I be on? Can I be on, guys? Like, can I be on? That would be great. Will you let me be on? Like, he was probably being really pushy, and they were like, okay.
But that's freaking awesome. If I was in his shoes, I would do the exact same thing.
I know.
I would want to be there in that position, being able to be in both worlds, and really in that sense, as an actor who's actively a fan of both Power Rangers and Tokusatsu, as he said, you know, numerous times on his Twitter, he's bridging the gap between fandoms there, between fans of Power Rangers and Super Sentai, who sometimes have animosity towards one another, but here it's like, hey, you get both in this guy. So, however you choose to view it, episode 34 will have his cameo in there.
This upcoming Sunday.
Yes, this upcoming Sunday, which is the Jiraiya team-up episode. So be aware of that, support that, and let him know that we're proud of him. Yes.
Yay.
Alright, but that's enough for the follow-ups. Let's get into our actual stories for the evening.
Alright, what was our first one?
Tigger and Booney.
Tigger and Booney, alright. That one somewhere over here, and I gotta... Yeah, yay! Oh, yeah, it's just... One of you is Tiger, and the other one of you is Bunny.
Well, technically it's reversed. Here's Bunny, and there's Tiger.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but that's them.
Go SoftBank,
Go Bondi.
Mobile phone company that kept us afloat while we were off in Japan just last month.
Yes.
Yay. So, there were people asking before, like, oh, I'm not familiar with what Tiger and Bunny is, so I guess we should kind of get people up to speed. So, this anime came out when? How many years ago now?
Not too long. It was, I have it here. Tiger and Bunny came out about 3 years ago. It is now currently available over here in the U.S. You can kind of find it in some
Funimation's
Walmarts.
License, right? Or
No,
it
was Viz.
It was Viz.
Viz licensed it, put it out. You can get it on Blu-ray right now, both Part 1 and Part 2 of this series and the movie Tiger and Bunny: The Beginning. This is an anime series that takes the superhero genre and kind of turns it around a little bit. What you see here in the series is a city that's full of heroes, but they're all corporate sponsored for their heroics.
Yeah,
and there's a ranking system.
There was someone who compared it to reality television. In a way, it is. Anytime some sort of major crime is happening, it is mass televised, and depending on how cool some of these hero stunts are, or whether or not they manage to apprehend the villain, they do get these ranking points, and that helps them get better sponsorship.
Which means better suits, better weapons,
more
better
money.
equipment. Yes, and the
Better
crux
pay.
of the story revolves around these two characters here. Tiger over here, Kotetsu, is an older hero who doesn't really keep up with the younger, faster heroes and likes doing things on his own. And early on in the series, he's paired up with Barnaby Brooks Jr., Bunny, they call him, because of the pointy helmet that he wears, and force them to work together as part of a superhero team.
So
and
it becomes almost a buddy cop sort of
pretty
situation.
much, yeah. It's a buddy cop situation, but with superhero motif.
And then it kind of downward spirals because we got to figure out who killed his family. Like,
oh, right, because, yeah, Barnaby is trying to solve the murder of his family while at the same time being a hero. And, of course, the anime was very popular. It got, like we said, dubbed over here and released. Well, now apparently
I actually think it's really easy to see it fit into a westernized...
Well, we were talking about that when we were even watching it, because it is very Western in style.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the character names, you know, Barnaby Brooks Jr., and, I have the list of names
just
right here.
had a bunch of names.
Yeah, Barnaby, Karina Lyle, Keith Goodman,
Nathan,
Antonio Lopez. Like, these aren't necessarily Japanese names. Really, Kotetsu there is the only, or he and his family, I should say, are the only real Japanese characters, aside from one or two of the villains. But yeah, it's got a very Western feel to it, and I think even audiences over in Japan kind of latched onto that. Like, no, I get that this is Western, but this feels really cool. I like this. And of course, this was adapted also into a live-action stage show, so that kind of gave more credence to the idea that, yeah, you could turn this into a movie. And my thinking was that they were going to turn it into a movie over there first. But now it seems that treatment is going to be given over here in Hollywood.
And I can kind of see it, because it does feel like something that would happen in a Western atmosphere, especially when you give it that reality TV show kind of feel that America is, let's face it, freaking obsessed with.
Yes.
To the point, to a fault.
To a fault, absolutely.
Very painfully to a fault, which I think could be very well elaborated upon in a movie.
Yes.
You know?
And this movie is looking to be produced by All Nippon Entertainment Works, or ANU, partnering with Imagine Entertainment, and that, of course, is the production studio that is helmed by Ron Howard. And Ron Howard's no stranger to film. He's done a ton of amazing work over the years, you know, like Apollo 13 and all these other amazing Oscar-worthy films. And so there's no lack of creative support behind this. The question now is, will it play over here? Because right now we're in what some people say is the waning part of the superhero movie bubble. Because a lot of people say, well, we're kind of oversaturated with superheroes. Now you want to bring these guys over here? You know, that we're already full with DC and Marvel.
Right.
Really more Marvel, and then DC's trying to catch up. How are these guys going to fit in?
I get that, yeah.
And the thing about it is, I think they can. I honestly do. Because they've got an interesting story, an interesting cast of characters, and with the right casting, it'll play. So long as you don't try to mess with the formula too much. Because you look at how Fantastic Four absolutely bombed, it was because there were too many hands in the pot, too many changes, and you take away from the core of what makes that story popular.
Well, also realize, too, I think a buddy cop scenario, America certainly is not a stranger to. Because
absolutely not.
Because realize these two people butt heads, as is always the case at the beginning of a buddy cop movie, you know?
Right.
I think this has a ton of elements that will play very well, again, to a Western audience. So, you're probably right. As with any movie, just don't have too many people trying to dick with it all at once, and then I think it'll be fine.
Now the thing about that you have to think about when you're thinking about superhero movies, you're not just thinking about one movie anymore. We live in an era of franchises, trilogies. So whoever signs on to these things, it's more than likely going to be a 3-picture deal. That's just a given. You know, studio standard now when it comes to this sort of thing. So whoever they cast for these roles, hopefully, you know, this doesn't end up in development hell, because I actually do want to see this. I actually do think it'll work.
I think this is one of the few times I think it could work, you know?
Yeah, I want to see characters that can embody, you know, Kotetsu being the old man, like, oh, you whippersnappers with all your cool gadgets and stuff, I can do this with my bare hands, which is kind of his power. But, you know, I want to see that interplay between Barnaby and Kotetsu, you know, show that off, have Blue Rose not be so lame. That's just personal opinion. because you know she's the one there. She's the one sponsored by Pepsi Next.
Yeah.
And she's definitely the because she's a superhero, but she's also a pop idol at the same time.
Yes.
And I definitely think they can play that up, so long as you don't have any stupid cases of like.
Because Pepsi Next is the equivalent of Pepsi Next. Here,
right.
Is Pepsi Next even still a thing right now?
I don't think it's a thing here now.
Not because it has been, but not like it was a limited like thing. I don't think it's still a thing.
Right.
They would probably just take it to Pepsi, just plain old Pepsi.
Right. Now the thing about it is, because of the nature of the show, which is these heroes have corporate sponsorship, that makes it that much easier to put this movie out, because you can just replace like Fig Arts and who else does he have on there? SoftBank. Replace SoftBank with like AT&T
or Sprint or something
like that, and boom, you got it. Keep Bandai. Don't really mess with the costumes too much. Just change little things.
I bet
you can resell the figures if you wanted.
They would change Bandai only because while Bandai is known here in the States, especially for like Power Rangers toys and probably now Yokai Watch. I bet they're
it'll be up and
Yokai
coming now.
Watch. Yeah, they're known, but they're not like big known like they are in Japan. It's not really the same level. I bet they would replace that with another company.
Now, the thing I'm wondering about, just because of the differences between America and Japan, you think they'll mess with Barnaby's color scheme? Because notice, he's pink. Like, let's not kid ourselves. He's pink. They know he's pink over there, but they don't have a problem with it. Over here...
They'd probably make him hot fire engine red.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I would be willing to bet they'd go fire engine red.
And that's, like, the one conceit I'm willing to make, like... yeah, alright, I figured you guys were gonna do that.
And they'd probably make Tiger over here more white and less green, and if it's green, it's smaller trim.
Well, I think they'd be fine with just the green trim.
Yes.
Because he's more or less black, gray, and white, and that's not too off-putting.
Yeah, I just think they would go with a lot of white to identify pure heroic, and then the black for really striking. This is me thinking Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know.
Now the thing about it is, if you look at the footage of the stage show, which you can just search on YouTube for, those suits, while a little wonky in places, they're still pretty accurate to the show. And you know, with Hollywood effects now, just even in TV, they can produce these suits very easily.
On top of that, what Hollywood movie doesn't want product placement, and what product don't want Hollywood recognition?
Case in point, Jurassic World.
Good God, Jurassic World, what is your problem?
See, that's the thing. When it's something like that, where the product placement is so in your face, like, we get it, you're sponsored by Starbucks.
But this is actually, like, part of the friggin' story.
Yeah, it's
so
there in the story.
Go ahead, please.
Like, you guys can have this one. Just give them the money, they'll put the logo on, and just stay away from the story. You guys just put the money up. You'll get it back on the back end. It'll be fine.
I think it could be done.
I think it can be done. So very much looking forward to seeing this become a known franchise over here and have more people able to enjoy Tiger and Bunny as a story.
Yes.
All right.
All right. Let's do this.
Yes, our second story.
Let me get rid of Yoshi Sudarso back here because I still left him there.
Okay.
There he is. So as you can see, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is coming out just a few more weeks on the 6th of November. To kind of get you guys up to speed a little bit, yes, it's coming out very soon, and Activision is like so freaking excited that they have taglines in news articles. Like, for example, like I'm looking at a GameSpot article that says, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 story has, quote, some really screwed up mind effery. And effery is me censoring it, and they had to censor it too. So apparently, like, they're super pumped that, like, yeah, it's picking up where Black Ops 2 left off, like 40 years after, actually. 40 years after. And they've described the narrative as twisted, and that this is done completely on purpose. A lot of the mystery of the trailer, the latest trailer, and all the story stuff is there because there's some really screwed up mind effery going to happen to you when you play the game. That's the Black Ops narrative. That's intentional in design. So, like, they're bragging about just how messed up this wartime scenario in, I guess, 2065 is going to be. So, here's what happened approximately last week or so. So they do this marketing stunt on the Black Ops 3 official Twitter account, where they decided, well, let's start talking about war. Okay? Because that's what Black Ops is about, right? It's always about war.
Yeah, it's about war.
Even if that war changes and suddenly it's in the future and then it's all robots and cyborgs.
Okay,
and
we'll talk about war. All right, what do you want me to write?
Okay, so start tweeting about a state of martial law and quarantines, 30-mile quarantines, and military drones, and put it in an actual location. Like, where did they say it was? I'm trying to figure out where exactly they said it was. Either somewhere in the Middle East, or something to that extent. But the thing is, they tweeted it so that it looked very real.
Right. Okay, so you want me to tweet this thing, and this is a level in the game we're telling people about?
No, like, pretend it's actually happening. It's not actually a level in, like, we want to freak people out because it's all messed up. Like, we're gonna, like, tell a mini Twitter story.
So are we gonna warn people that this is a story?
No, they'll figure it out because it's coming from our Black Ops account. Like,
okay.
They'll figure it out.
Alright, I sent it. Alright.
But the problem is people couldn't figure out that it was fake. And to an extent, like, I understand where Activision is like, whoa, we don't understand why people were freaked out by this.
Oh, it was in Singapore. It was in
Singapore. Yeah, they were live tweeting a fake terrorist attack in Singapore, as if it was actually occurring. So people are freaking out, like, oh my god, terrorism, and things are blowing up, there's a state of martial law, there's military drones, and there's a 30-mile quarantine zone, and so
cops and riot gear everywhere, get on the ground.
And so people think this is actually happening, and Activision is like, but we were doing this as promotion for our game, this isn't real. So the part of me understands, like, hey, this is an Activision-run account, don't believe what they're saying, but then another part of me is like, yeah, but you were, like, pretending there was, like, actual war happening, and you were live tweeting it, like, right now. It's kind of not cool, so they had to go back and delete all of this stuff, and then later go and apologize. Blundell, he's the game director, not involved with the game's marketing, but he said that this was absolutely not done for any kind of attention in any way. I mean, I think that sounds like...
I think that's a lie.
That's a stupid sentence. Like, you wanted attention, but what you wanted was attention to be like, oh, this is exciting, what's going on? You didn't want to, like, scare people. That's not what you wanted.
Well, I believe this part that he says, it wasn't done maliciously, it wasn't a scare tactic. I'm personally sorry for anybody who got the wrong idea, it wasn't meant like that. Yeah, okay.
I do get that.
Alright,
you know?
So, Jason, Mr. Blundell, if I can speak to you for a second, there was this dude named Orson Welles, alright? And, back in the 40s, he kind of pulled the same thing. Maybe you should have looked that up ahead of time. That didn't work out too well for him. Because, yeah, people don't know something's fake unless you tell them it's fake. And even if they're showing up during the thing, if you don't have a way of telling them it's fake, then they're not gonna believe it's fake.
Of course, at the same time, you know, radio... At the time with War of the Worlds, people
specifically
will just...
what I'm referring to.
Yeah, people will just tune in and have no idea what's going on. But if it's coming from an official Twitter account promoting a game, that's kind of different. Unless you can kind of get the impression of, oh, somebody from Activision in Singapore right now? Is something bad happening to this person who's in
that's what
representative in Singapore?
See, that's the thing I think people... That's how they jumped to that conclusion, was they went down that train of thought of, oh, is somebody in Singapore from Activision? Oh, they're the only ones there reporting on this. Oh no, I need to warn people! And, because that's the thing, like, a lot of people get their news from Twitter now.
Yeah.
And, yeah, admittedly, you have to be very careful with that, because, yes, Twitter can be a very powerful, useful tool for reporting news that's happening right that second. But the thing about it is, yeah, you have to be very careful of it, because somebody could just, oh, I don't know, be trying to promote a game that's coming out on the 6th.
So it's very I don't think that it's enough of a debacle that it's going to deter the people who were going to buy Black Ops 3 anyway from buying Black Ops 3. I don't think it's, like, enough negative press that all of these jarheads aren't gonna go out and buy it anyway, you know?
Like, okay, so did the attack happen? No. Can I still get the game? Yeah. Can I still buy Mountain Dew and drink it while I'm playing the game?
No, these guys are probably drinking Monster.
Oh, Monster and Mountain Dew? I'm gonna mix them.
Monster, Mountain Dew, Red Bull, and Four Loko.
Yeah, can I drink all that at the same time still?
It's really dangerous, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Alright.
And then, you know, they're fine.
Pre-order.
Pre-order. Well, yeah, they probably already pre-ordered, so it's not even a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of an exercise in what not to do when promoting your game on social media.
But yeah, the director continued on to say, it was done on our channel, and it was to talk about the fiction of the world. I think we were as shocked as everybody else when it started blowing up, because essentially we were teeing up ready for a story beat. Like, it sounded like, oh, we were just getting to the good part when people started complaining about it.
So, like, man, they were setting this up.
We were going somewhere with this.
So they're saying they're setting it up, and if people had been a little more patient or a little bit more observant, they would have seen, oh, they're going to tell a story that's not really happening. But the thing is, before they could get to that point, people on the internet freaked the hell out.
Yeah, it was supposed to just be getting ready for a campaign element.
So they didn't get that far.
Part of me is a little disappointed
That's
now.
a little funny then.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed, and I feel kind of bad for, like, whoever wrote the scenario for this fake wartime happening. Like, oh man, here, we're about to release the good part of my story. What do you mean we're pulling my story? Well, I just wrote
because that means one of think about it. That means one of two things. Either one, his story was really, really good that it convinced that many people, or two, people just weren't paying attention that hard. Because, yeah, it's very easy to take information that you don't know all of and then run with it like you know something. And that seems to be what happened here. Because, yeah, that guy's probably like, man, I stayed up all night writing that.
Took me like 2 hours.
Man, I couldn't watch all my Netflix. Well, I guess I got time to watch it now. Because he doesn't have to upload that story.
So I don't know whether I'm really like, Activision, you done goofed, or I'm like, oh, that's too bad, guys. I really don't know.
It's more of the funny, you done goofed. Alright, get back to GameStop.
Yeah. I guess that's about it.
Yeah,
really.
That's about it on that story.
Okay, it was kind of amusing. It was like, I can't even believe that War of the Worlds like actually happened twice.
I know, right? You know? History. Call of Duty.
Call of Duh.
Yeah, Call of Duh.
Call of Duh.
Yeah, there you go. That's what it is. Call of Duh.
Call of Duh. I'm sorry. Let's get off.
All right, let's get off that one. All right, so moving on to our last story of the evening, having to do with Battle Angel Alita finally looking to get out of development hell.
Yeah, like I am so shocked. Like, I thought it was gonna die. I could have sworn, like, we might have talked about this sometime within the last few years.
We've covered it as a story before.
Like as some kind of follow-up or something. Just like, yep, James Cameron's still talking about how he's not yet doing this.
Yeah, and it's like old man Cameron's just sitting there on his porch in his rocker, counting his money.
Why would I make it when I'm so filthy rich?
Why would I make it? I'm still doing Avatar everything. You want the Avatar toilet paper? It's coming out in 2019. Like, he's planning that far ahead for Avatar, and he keeps announcing more Avatar add-ons. Like, oh, there's going to be tie-in comics, and novels, and theme parks, and 3 more 3D movies, and lunchboxes, and
breakfast cereal,
and condiments,
and flamethrowers,
and yeah, basically, everything from Spaceballs.
Yes, everything from Spaceballs.
Well, now it finally seems like somebody went up to him on the porch like, hey, old man Cameron, you gonna use that Battle Angel you're sitting on? Maybe?
Why, who's asking? And they answer, Robert Rodriguez.
He's like, okay, well, what do you want with it? Well, I don't want to necessarily take it from you if you want to keep it, but, like, can I help you do something with that? Because it's just sitting there wasting away. He's like, let's talk. And that's where we are.
You mean you're gonna make me more money and I don't have to do anything? Okay.
Yeah, and that's where we're at now. So this was reported just yesterday from the Hollywood Reporter that Robert Rodriguez is negotiating with him to adapt this and direct for the movie. And since it's known over here as Battle Angel Alita, they would change the title to Alita Battle Angel. Big change.
I mean, all the same, though, it's not like Battle Angel Alita has never seen a name change, because it's not called Battle Angel Alita in Japan. It's called Ganmu, which literally means gun dream. And her name's not even Alita, it's what?
Gali.
Gali.
Yeah. But we changed it to Alita over here.
Neither one of them sounds like a name to me, so, I don't know why we made that decision, but whatever, same story, don't care.
So, basically, we just ran down all the reasons why James Cameron wasn't going to do it, because he's got Avatar on the brain.
Yeah.
He just wasn't going to get to it.
And he's like, why would I do this? I'm making a theme park.
Because that's the thing.
Like, Avatar needs a theme park. Like, okay, it was an okay movie that I've seen before in many other movies. Why did this need a theme park again? Anyway, so Avatar focused, not enough Battle Angel focused.
And because the thing is, people would ask him about it just the same, like, hey, you gonna do something with that? Because, like, I remember reading that as a kid, and I'm an adult now. Like, are you gonna do something?
But apparently they also had another producer,
John Landau.
Yeah, John Landau attached to it. And I'm looking at him, and he's like only got so many films under his belt. Like Avatar was one of them, so it's like, oh, well, that's why you got the job. But then also Titanic, so that's also why you got the job. And Solaris, I guess. I never saw Solaris.
Solaris is.
But then also Dick Tracy, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And Campus Man?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what Campus Man is.
But Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and
what? Oh, I'm looking
Dick
at
Tracy.
the movie poster for Campus Man, and I'm just like, what the hell?
That looks like a porn.
It almost looks like, 1980s porn.
Point being, he also went on to produce for apparently The Hurt Locker, if I'm understanding correctly.
I guess
yeah.
so.
And The Hurt Locker, of course, won the Oscar that year. So the thing about it is they've got the money for the movie. That's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, are they going to get it done? Now, people were wondering, well, Cameron's going to pay for a lot of heavy effects because he's kind of addicted to that, thanks to Avatar and his previous work with the Alien franchise. But the thing about it is, I like that if anybody else was going to take it from him, or at least work with him on it, that it's Robert Rodriguez.
Yes.
Because Robert Rodriguez gets stuff done. All the stuff he's put out, even if it's a little gritty, I like the grit that he puts out, you know? I like the Machete movies. I really do. They're fun. And
yeah, they're tongue-in-cheek and very humor.
And for what it's worth, there's a lot of higher level, that's a weird way of putting it, humor in the Spy Kids movies peppered throughout. You gotta look for it, but it's in there. and the thing is, they don't completely suck.
Excuse me. Thank you.
And I think he'd be a prime candidate to do this. Now, here's the thing. We've got you pulling out, like, okay, I've thrown you a rope, Battle Angel, now hold on to it, I'm a pull. The pulling involved now is get a script.
Yes.
You need the script. Then you need to start casting, and then you actually need to follow through.
Yes.
Because we don't want this to be just like the last time we covered it, where it's like, okay, here's a new flag on the road to nowhere.
As is typical with many, many, many anime or manga to Hollywood movie adaptations, which, to kind of pull that back to our earlier story, God, I hope Tiger and Bunny doesn't fall into development hell.
Well, because, like we've said before, with all the many times that we've talked about adaptations of anime over here, it's just like with video game movies, Hollywood is still waiting for that one, without a doubt, hit that can give everybody else who's optioned all these different pictures the green light to say, all right, we can start making all these other movies. Because, like we've said before, and we'll say it again right now, a lot of video games, a lot of board games, a lot of anime are already optioned to be turned into motion picture franchises. They're just waiting.
World of Warcraft is just about to get out the gate.
Yeah, and the thing is, people are banking on that, or the Assassin's Creed movie
Mm-hmm.
to be the ones, to be the flagship, essentially. Even if it's not the right studio, if you can just show everybody else, hey, this one made over 100 million,
Mm-hmm.
can you greenlight our project? Can we go ahead and start moving that way? Because they want to start mining the next big golden reserve,
Well,
and that
yeah,
is anime.
Yeah, because the current one is superhero flicks, and it's like, all right, when are people going to get tired of it because we're milking it so hard? Like right now, I'm fine with it and I love it, but it's probably gonna hit that point eventually.
Well, because the thing
one
about
day it's gonna hit that point.
But see, here's the thing with it. When it comes to superhero, right now, I think actually it's more of a, I would almost say it's more of a renaissance, because right now we're finally at that point, after years and years of bad adaptations, that we can get to a point where we can say these are the best adaptations
Yes,
that we could get.
right now,
Like
that is
Daredevil,
where we are.
like
but-
Guardians of the Galaxy, go back a couple of years to The Dark Knight. These are the ones that we can say, look, this is storytelling, and
I'm
it doesn't
just-
matter that they're in capes.
I'm just saying, eventually it's going to get to a point where it's like, all right, everything is superheroes right now, and we're bored. What's next?
And the thing is,
One day it will get there. It's
It'll
not
get
right
there.
now.
but right now, they're still trying to get ahead of the curve. Like, I know you guys are all bogged down with your studios warring over who gets the next superhero release date, but we're looking at the next thing, anime, and it can be any sort of title. It can they'll sell it not as an anime title, but as, oh, this is a horror flick, this is a buddy cop flick, this is a action adventure set in space. You know, the different ways they'll market it. And here they'll market it as post-apocalyptic kind of sci-fi,
because she's a cyborg.
strong female protagonist, because again, that will sell more now because of Mad Max, because of Fury Road. People want to buy that, and the thing is, George Miller just said the next Mad Max movie that they do won't have Furiosa in it, and people really, really liked Furiosa.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, you know, that same kind of look of, she's a woman who's obviously been through some stuff, she's got some replacement parts. Look at Gally, look at Alita, she's got all this cyberization
Yeah,
on
it's
her.
pretty much just her torso and head that are still human.
Right. And the thing is, people will latch on to that. Especially, you think back to this past year with Ex Machina. It's that same sort of idea. In fact, the actress who played, I forget the name of the android in that movie, but she was also in Man from U.N.C.L.E. She's probably a good candidate to play Alita, because she's just the right age, has about the right facial structure. And really, this will be a prime role. I think if they market it the right way, it'll take off. But the thing is, if you bog it down with too many nitpicky decisions, like, oh, well, she has to look like that, we have to focus so hard on design, I think that's really what Cameron, if he was ever serious about it, that's probably why it never took off, because he couldn't get past the minutia of what it would take to make it.
That's true.
Because, you know, when you've made so many movies after so much time, you can sometimes get lost in the forest. You can't see the forest for the trees.
Yes.
You know, and then that's what doesn't permit you to make the thing you actually want to make. And it takes somebody with a fresh pair of eyes to be like, no, I see what you're trying to make. Let me handle it. You go rest. Just give me a little money to do this, and you'll be all right. And that's what Robert Rodriguez is trying to do. And I really think that it can be done. But of course, the question is, as far as they're concerned, can this be a marketable franchise? I want to hope, but I'm not sure.
That would be nice, but realize too, actually, they recently released even more Battle Angel Alita in
true.
Japan. There's the most recent one, newest manga, Gunmu, right? Kase Senki, just launched last year. So it's still a running, notable title in Japan right now, that we likely, I don't know when we would ever see it, because they quit releasing publications of it quite a long time ago.
They did start releasing
here.
the Omnibus.
Oh,
remember?
did they?
Yeah.
That's right, they did.
So if you want to catch up on that, you can go to your local Barnes & Nobles, and you can probably find it there in the manga section. The thing I'm worried about is, as far as the look of an adaptation, this is just always the way it came across to me. You know that live-action Kashurin movie?
Yes.
How it's almost unwatchable except for that one nice
fight scene.
I would not want it to turn into that.
I get you. Yeah.
You know? where it's just...
I am nervous about how this could be treated. Nervous about it because it is a female lead. How are they going to handle her? How much are they going to sex her up? Because granted, coming from Japan in the 90s, she also was created to kind of look ideal as well.
Alluring, yes.
But I think you could still really focus on her as a character. If Hollywood did that correctly, she could be strong and sexy, but have the strong female motivational kind of character archetype be the stronger of those 2 points. And, you know, some women, they want to feel sexy while also feeling like they get the job done.
Well, because they say
so
here, within
that's okay.
The story we're reading from here says, within the context of an epic action-adventure, the film would explore a young woman's journey of self-discovery and finding love. Now, if you can set that, which, when you say self-discovery and finding love, that's like, pfft, chick flick, and you turn it off. But when you set that to post-apocalyptic, a lot of, like, kind of, not cyberpunk, what would you call it? Not steampunk, but it kind of just mechanical look to it, put in some good action scenes, you'll get somebody to sit through that.
Yeah, for sure.
So it all comes down to characterization, marketing, and actually following through with making this movie. Because you can do it, you just have to commit and follow through, and then don't get too lost in the details.
Yes.
Just focus on the movie you're trying to make.
Yes. And I think that just about covers it. I think
pretty much, yeah.
That's all the details we really have on it for the time being.
But we'll keep you guys posted as it becomes available.
Yeah, we'll definitely follow up on it should we ever hear more. And that, I suppose, is the end of our episode. Unless you are here with us live right now, in which case we're about to go into another half hour, just sitting and talking with you guys and doing Q&A sort of stuff. Post-show is awesome. So if you're not here with us live right now and you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, come out and hang out with us on Thursday evenings at 9 p.m. Central. And then after the show, we'll continue to talk with you guys as well. And it's always fun.
Yes. But in the meantime, if you want to talk to us during the week, hit us up over on social media, on Twitter. I'm at Josh Knight First.
And I'm at Mars Girl.
And that's DJ Downstairs Neighbor.
Screw that guy.
But this has been this week's episode of Beyond the Black Rims. We'll catch you guys next week.
Good night, everybody.